So today we're going to start with Reference USA US Lifestyles / Consumers. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen with you. And this is a screen that you'll get when you come into the homepage, which is pplb.org. We're going to go to research and then down to business. First is listed the LibGuides, and some of the outlines here will help you, again, refer to different topics within business, like market research and how to start your own business and that kind of stuff. But we're going to go back to the databases and scroll down to Reference USA. Reference USA can be a little bit picky sometimes. It doesn't let you in on the first try. This time we happened to get lucky and it did. A lot of times if you just go back to the list of databases and click on it again, it will let you in. Sometimes if you've got a lot of cookies on your computer, it will ask you to clear the cookies before it will let you load this particular database. So you want to go ahead and pay attention to what it says on the screen, because it will tell you that you need to clear cookies, or it'll just say it can't connect. If it's not connecting, you want to notify the library so we can make sure we can make it happen. So we're going to go into US Consumer / Lifestyles. This is a database that a lot of people don't realize is in existence. It actually tracks users and how much they spend on different categories. So it will tell you who spends more than national average on about 130 different categories. So we can help you find out who has cars, who has kids, who has pets, who likes fine wine, just all kinds of things. So we're going to go ahead and again do an advanced search. Almost always use advanced search. In this case, it has contacts per household, all per household, or one per household. I recommend you do all per household, and if there is 2 listings at the same household, I generally recommend that you try the female that's listed at the household. Market research tells us that guys will look at it and they will say, I don't know this person, and they'll trash it. They won't even give you a chance. If, however, it's something like beer or motorcycles, then the guy probably will open it first. Women, on the other hand, we tend to look at it and say, I don't know this person, but does anybody in my family need this in the next 6 months? And if the answer is yes, they will not only open it, but they will keep it. So I usually recommend that if you're going to send it to one person in the household, you send it to her. If you tell it 1 per household, it will default to whoever's listed as head of household on the census. And the census thinks guys more important, and they list them as the primary head of household. So you're going to get the male name and not the female name. So I'm going to go after the metro area of Colorado Springs, and I'm going to go after kids present in the household, because I'm trying to identify houses that are campers, that are families. So we're going to choose the state of Colorado, and we're going to choose kids present, and we're going to update our count. You do have to put in Colorado Springs to get it down to a manageable number. So we have 321,821. Anything under this category here called Consumer Snapshot, which includes age, marital status, ethnicity, kids, religion, political party, mortgage present, homeowner value, veteran, that kind of stuff, is considered privacy information. So it will give it to you as a chart or a graph, but it will not give you the actual mailing addresses. So I'm going to show you a chart, and I'm going to tell it, okay, where in the city of Colorado Springs do these people live? So by zip code, where do they live? And I'm again going after kids present in the household. I usually use the area just because it's easier to see from a distance when I'm teaching class. So here we can see that 80920 has the highest concentration at 21,854, and 80918 has 21,823. If you want to copy this, you first need to download it as a PDF and then print it. If you print right away, you'll get the outline, but you will not get the data on the chart. And you obviously can't get the numbers on the chart. You can just guesstimate them once it's printed out, because it is final. So we're going to go back and do a revised search, and I'm going to take off the consumer snapshot. So I'm not going to have kids present. And because I know that the metro area is way too many, I'm going to tell it to go after the zip code, which we identified as the highest. You can put in as many zip codes as you want. It will do 5 across and then 5 more across. If you get to that last one, when you hit 10, it gives you another box of 5, and you can keep going in until you're done. So I'm going to go after 80920, and now I'm going to look at lifestyles. Lifestyles actually has a category called purchase behavior. If you go after purchase behavior, there's one called child and family related products. If they have kids in the household, and they're spending more than national average on kids in the household, do you think it's a house with kids? It's either a house with kids or it's a house with an indulgent grandparent or an aunt. And I don't care, because they're still indicating that they're buying products and services for kids. So we're going to go ahead and update our count now. And we've still got too many, at least in my estimation. So I'm going to go after estimated home income. And I happen to know that the income for this level is pretty high. So I'm going to go after those that make $100,000 to $125,000. And it got me to 862. That's more manageable. So I'm going to go ahead and look at view results. View results show us who these people are and where they live. And we just happen to have 2 that are at the same address, 2240 Brent Circle. So looking at David, it tells us he's married. This is his household number. The home has been around 26 years. He may not be the only one that has been in it, but the home has been around 26 years. He and his neighbors make between $100,000 and $125,000, and their home values are estimated between $250,000 and $299,000 in the 2010 census. It is about 65% owner occupied, so there's a fair number of renters here. This information is from the 2000 census, so you can see has it grown or not. This is how David spends his money. And we can see a lot of information about him. Since he happens to have the 2 categories that I wanted to point out, I'm going to go ahead and talk about them now. If it says sports, it's general sports, golf, football, baseball, etc. Tennis. The one that means that they probably play it as well as watch it is golf and tennis. And that does not show up under outdoor recreation. Outdoor recreation will tell you which sports they themselves participate in, not just watch it, but participate in it. So he's interested in current events. Here's why he came up, child and family products. He's a gift giver. He also has senior-oriented products. So either his wife and himself are seniors, or somebody in the household is that they're buying a lot of stuff for. But you can see a lot of different things on how he spends his money. It does come up with stylish women's apparel, which is like Nordstrom's, Coldwater Creek, those kinds of things. It will show up on his credit card because women are very good at spending in their husband's name. So if it's under he's the primary card holder, it will show up under his name and hers, regardless of who's actually using it. So we're going to go back and take a look at her record and see if we know more or less about her. So she is female and she is married, so she's in all probability the wife. The information in the second box is the same. This information, though, can be different. And we can see right here that her and her family do camping and hiking. So we've now got the people that we want, families that camp. I highly recommend that you go after one category at a time under lifestyle interests, because if you use more than one, it's an either or strategy. They do this or that or both. If you go after what's most important to you, in this case, families, and then go after whether they are campers or hikers, then you'll be able to sort, especially if you dump it into Excel. You can sort by that column and get people that have 2 things in common with you. She is also a wildlife and environmental donor. So you know she's a charitable donor and spends most of that money on these 2 categories. The other category is charitable donor. So they spend money on all kinds of different charity types of things. But some things like collectibles showed up on hers, but not under him. And that's probably because she does all the buying for that particular topic that they're purchasing. So you can go ahead and download this. Again, to repeat how you do that, you click on the first name. That grabs the first 25, and you keep doing that until you get all the records you want for the first 10. I'm just going to do it with 3. Click on download. Comma delimited opens in Word, Macintosh, WordPad, Excel, etc. I usually use Excel 2007, 2010 because it will open anything compatible from 1997 to 2020. If you choose Excel here, it's whatever version of Excel you are on. And if you send it to someone who has a much newer version of it than you do, they may not be able to read it because it's not formatted in a format they can understand. And if you don't know what tab delimited is, don't use it because it will look like you're trying to read Spanish when you only understand English. Summary gives you name, address, phone number, and a few other fields that they consider most important. I usually ask for detailed, especially in Excel, because you can hide columns that you don't want the information for now, but might need it in the future. You can also customize your search if you want to do that. Going back, if you click on Revise Search and then view the results, it'll bring the exact same list. Just make sure this number is still the same, 862, and it's not. It went to $40,000. So it dropped the category. It dropped the money. And it also dropped the lifestyle. Under lifestyle, anytime there's a plus, you can go dig deeper into it. So again, I'm going to go after child and family related products. Now I've got my list back, so I just click on view results. And what it did was it erased those pages that I had already marked. So I could just go to page 11 and hit return, and then mark 11 through 20, then do 21 through 30, etc., until I've got the number of records that I want. I've downloaded 3,700 records out of here at one time. If you do make phone calls, the telephone numbers displayed may be on a do not call list, and you shouldn't use it for calling people unless you've checked federal, state, and local laws. They can turn you in for bothering them at home because you're on that do not call list, and cell phones can now list themselves on the do not call as well. So you want to make sure that you've done that. Another thing I want to go back and reiterate is if you go under About Us, Contact Us, you can actually call them, get your own business listed in here. They will do that for you for free. And you want to do that because Google uses this to rank search results when people do a search on a name. And it's also free advertising. So if you identified what your SIC and NAICS codes are, fill in as many of those fields as you want. You don't have to fill in everything. They gray it out if you don't. And then you can be listed in here for free. So you want to do that if you're doing this. Again, you can go back to Reference USA and it'll lead you back to the other database possibilities. If you have already created an account, if you come down here and log on, you will actually be able to see all of the accounts that you have created and saved. It does not matter where you come into it from because it's housed on their server, not PPLD. So I have gentlemen right now, they're over in Iraq and Afghanistan, and they are doing business plans over there. So they create files and then come in from Afghanistan to use those files to get more information on what they're trying to do. So I'm going to go right back up to the top, and I'm going to go back to the business LibGuides. Oh, I forgot to double check and make sure this is a 200%. Yeah, it still is good. So there are other databases that are lesser used, but still very, very important. So we're going to start going through those. Business Plans Handbook is actual sample business plans of working businesses that are out there. So you can type in whatever it is that you're looking for, and it will find all of the business plans that have that term in it. So we can see here that this first one is from volume 20, and it's from 2011. And then one underneath it is volume 5, and then 1998. This goes back to about 1995, and then it does go forward to 2020. So we do have newer ones there. Anytime it uses your term anywhere in there, it doesn't have to be part of the descriptor, it will come up. When I looked for dog, because I was trying to find kennels, one of the things that came up was library, because I read books on, do story times on dogs. And one was a children's playground, because there was a slide at the playground that was shaped like a dog. So it'll come up all different ways anytime that word is used. It also came up with sports stadiums, and that was because they sold hot dogs, and that has the word dog in it. So this is what they are set up as. It will tell you what they cover, all the different sections that they cover. You only have to put in your business plan those categories that are appropriate for your business plan. So if you are going to be doing only electronic business or on the internet, you don't have to do location. What I did when I did a business plan, I had mine be electronic only. And my location statement said that everything would be sold on the internet, so there's no physical location. And that was just so that my investors would know that I was not investing in money into a building that it was going to be used other ways. But you can see what they mean by the different categories, and look at more than one, and it will give you an idea of other things you might want to cover. Some people want to cover certain things and others want to cover others, but you want to take a look at it and see which ones make sense for what you're trying to do. It does have a whole bunch of different things. I'd love to go to this place. Their descriptions are yummy. So it will give financials. In many cases, these guys chose not to. So I would go back then and see if one of the others had financials. Financials is last in the database if they have it, and he does. So he has startup costs, how much it's going to cost for different things. Even if the numbers aren't exactly what you want, it will give you the categories that you need to cover. So again, we're getting into ingredients, we're getting into proposed equipment, just all kinds of different things that we can see that we could maybe take a look at and see, did we include that in our own business plan if we'll be using those same type of things? If so, good. If not, we can now add it because we know it's missing. Again, I'm going to go out of that one and go back to the LibGuides, or the database list, sorry. And we're going to take a look at Yale Directory Library. Last time we looked at demographics now, earlier today. So Yale Directory Library is actually the encyclopedia of associations and early stage investing. Sorry, I needed water. So I'm going to go in here and type in beauty. And it's going to come back and tell me it found 126 results that are local, regional, state, national, or international. So the very first one is a professional beauty association. So I can go into that topic and it will tell me who they are, where they're physically located, phone numbers, fax numbers, emails, toll-free numbers if they have them. It will also give you websites, and it will give you Facebook and Twitter accounts as well. This was founded in 1985, and there are 41 members. And it tells you what the cost is to become a member. They have 38 staff, which are kind of high compared to the number of members, but it may be a very specialized association. It will tell you who's involved with that association. Do they have any publications? If so, what are they called and how often do they come out? Do they give any awards or scholarships? Do they have any publications like newsletters or magazines? Do they have a convention or meeting on a regular basis? If so, when and where is the next one? And then it has subject headings that you might want to check out as well. One of the things a lot of people forget is that a lot of the associations collect data on their specific industry. So they'll have statistics for a lot of things that are happening in their industry, including sales of their products and services. If you go here under member resources and go down here to resource library, it actually has a lot of data here that you can either purchase or just read online. This is a great place to go to find out all kinds of things that will help you be better at organizing your business and trying to figure out what's going on. A lot of times too, they will have stuff that you can download for free. I did have one person who, when he was opening up a coffee shop before there was one on every corner, we didn't have a whole bunch of resources at that time about coffee shops. So we looked up an association, we found an association, we also found a government office that oversees coffee. And what we did was contacted both of them and asked them if they could send us information to help us start our business. They had a report on the coffee industry that they charged $500 for, but they were running a special on their membership. It was $100. And if you became a member, you got that report for free. So he joined, got what he needed out of the book, had everything that he was looking for, and also realized that he met a lot of vendors, he met a lot of potential customers. He went to their conference, which was phenomenal. He found out who some of his competitors were and some of those people that he could work as, I'll promote your business, you promote mine kind of thing. At the end of the first year, he couldn't afford to buy back into the membership because now it was back up to the higher price. But he put it into his budget so he could go back and do it again in the third year. And he is still in business and has been in business for about 12 years right now. So there's a lot of information that you can find there. We're going to just go back screen here because I want to show you the other one that I had mentioned earlier. The early stage investing does have to be done on itself. When it does the search the first time, it actually looks on these three and not this one. So I'm going to go ahead and type in the same word and see if I can find any money. And it's not, but if I type in retail, then I can find local associations, I can find national and international places that will invest in this topic. So if you go through, here's Retail Bakers of America, you could find information that's out there on what's going on. Okay, for some reason it is not doing the early stage investing. So and this is showing the association's directory and not the early stage investing. Early stage investing will tell you, is it venture capital? Is it private equity? Is it individuals that do it because they just have a lot of money and don't know what to do with it? And it is both local, national, international. So you'll find a number of people from overseas that want to invest in certain industries in the United States. And it will tell you what the range of investment is in that category. I'm going to go back into it from as if it's brand new and see if it'll do it from here. No, still doing the same thing. So at this point in time, no, it did go into the right one because this one says it's a business incubator. So it did do the right one this time. So if you go in, it'll tell you how much money they've got if they're doing stuff. These guys, it looks like it's designed to help startups, but not necessarily to fund the startup. But they may point you to startup resources that are funding. But again, you can see the business incubators happens to be coming up quite a bit on the first one. Let's see if we can find it. Here's an angel investor group. So this one happens to be, come on. It's also out of Pennsylvania, so it says it's a local one, but they're telling you what they do and who they fund. And if you are not listed in their list of descriptions, then don't contact them because they won't be funding what you're looking for. And it does look like they're working on it because the numbers are not there. They usually are. The next one we're going to cover is Gale Small Business Builder. This one is actually a business template. So if you're trying to write a business plan and you've never done it before, you want to go ahead and use this. It does have new entrepreneur category, experienced business owners, and nonprofits. I usually create all of mine under new entrepreneur just because it gives you more questions and a little bit more help. Kind of get started, you do have to create an account because as long as you've hit the word save, it will save what you're looking for, and you'll be able to go back into it later and retrieve or change and then reprint what you're looking for. So when you go into it, it will bring up any business plan that you have here. You can have up to 5 at a time. So it's telling me, welcome back to the Business Plan Builder. I usually start with business plans. You don't have to do it in order. And I do it this way just because it makes more sense and it's easier to figure out. It will tell you what it is. It will go, well, how should I do it? It will give you information on it. You can do a guided tour through it. There's all kinds of different things. If it has a green circle with a check mark in it, that means that section of it has been completed. If there's a red circle, that means it's in progress. And if it has nothing after it, there. So here I could click and open a sample business plan, and it will actually show me what things should be included and where they are. So there's a whole bunch of help here for you on what you're trying to do. I'm just going to open this up so you can see what it is. So edit company name and type. I called it Terry's Resources. I started in late 2018. It's a partnership and it's based on the US dollar because I'm in the United States. You always want to hit save at the end and then go back to the dashboard. It will go back to where you started, or you can go to different areas. I am not the greatest at finances. What I love about this database is it has all the formulas embedded in it. So when I put in here that I'm going to do payroll of $20,000 the first year with a 3% growth, it actually does the math for me out 5 years. It will also add up everything that I've put in there and tell me how much my costs are going to be this year with a margin of error for that industry, because it does fluctuate with different industries. If you don't do something like I didn't have any professional dues the first 2 years, I didn't have any money for communication, so I said 0. You can go back in and change that, and when you do, it will actually change everything else. So if you don't give it any increases, it'll just say 500 all the way across. But if you start giving it increases, then it will actually change that amount of money. So I'm going to increase that by 1%, hopefully by 5% the third year, and then maybe 2% for the following year. And you can see that it actually changed those numbers for me, and the numbers down here changed as well. So I love the fact that it helps me because I can take 6 numbers, add them up, and get 6 different answers. I have a bad habit of transposing digits. So that is something that can make it really easy for you to use this, and they will help you with other things. You can also, as I said earlier, do Guide Me, and it will walk you through the next page, how to figure out what you're looking at, what kinds of things do you expect to spend on. And if you're not sure what I mean by certain topics, this will help conform those topics. So you've got that information. Always, always go to the bottom of the page and save every time so that you have that information for next time. And you can go in and print this out, come back into it a year from now and make changes to it, and it will actually go through and make all those changes throughout the document. So if this type of information is used on other pages, it will transport that through all the LinkedIn pages. So you don't have to type it in or remember where the categories were. So it makes it really helpful. You can also look at helpful resources, and it will give you information on how everybody can do a budget, everyone can use and understand, scrutinizing your costs, fixed and variable expenses, just a whole bunch of different things that will help you figure out what you need to do to figure out how to put things into the business plan. So again, this is a very useful business plan. It doesn't look like a lot when you're looking at it on the screen, but it does have financial projections, staffing, financial projection resources, just all kinds of different things here. So I would recommend that you use Gale Business Plan Builder. If you've never done a business plan before, it will help walk you through everything. Next one we're going to look at is Learn on Demand. Learn on demand also makes save everything. And that's because most people don't complete it in one sitting unless they're only looking for short information like how to make a table, how to do pivot. And it looks like I didn't put in the right password. No, I've got so many passwords. I have a cheat sheet for bringing. I don't want to bring it up when you're here, so I'm going to stop sharing for just a second to get to that password so I can see it, but you guys can't. Sorry about that. Okay, I was off by one digit. I knew it. Okay, so this is Learn on Demand, and it will show you what's out there. You can take a look at the courseware. It will show you everything it covers, and it covers a lot. I call it everything Microsoft, but it covers a lot of stuff that's not just Microsoft. We have Gmail here. We have information on Google Classroom, Google Docs, Google Drive, Google Sheets. It also goes to OneDrive for Business, Outlook, PowerPoint, Teams. If you've never used Teams before, this is a really good tutorial for it. I'm just going to go into the Excel 2013 one just to show you some of the differences between, actually I'll use the 16 one. And it'll tell you here, it looks like it actually didn't go into mine. I'm going to go back out and start over because that's not mine. Okay, this is what we need to be in. So this is PPLDs, and it says I've only taken 2% of the class. If I click on Excel, I can see what I've not started. There's a pre-test that you can take, and then these are all the lessons, and this is a post-test that you can take. If you take the post-test and you get above 80%, you will actually get a certificate that says that you're competent to this level of whatever it is you're trying to do. But if you just want certain types of things like format, numbers, and dates, you can actually click on this one and go ahead and learn just that information. You don't have to do it in any specific order. So I'm just going to click on Understanding Excel. Okay, so here's the student guide. It'll walk you through everything, including the lessons. You can take them as many times as you want. So we can see here, this is a very long guide, and it goes through everything that's in the database. It shows you how to do it, shows you what your screen looks like. It does it for you. It tells you how to do it. Then it asks you to do it, and if you do it right, you can go on to the next screen. If you don't, it will make it, it will show you again how to do it, and then ask you to do it again. So it's really good for those of us that need repetition in order to get things to stick in our head. This is a really, really helpful tool. For charts, I use this all the time because I don't use charts all the time, but when I do, I want to make sure that I can go through and actually get to what I need to get to. Okay. Besides this, it does have what it calls quick reference guides. These are 2-page sheets on the highest points of interest for that particular lesson plan. So every single lesson plan has one of these sheets, and it will go through and tell you what you learned. It'll go through and show you shortcuts to do it. This is how I first learned what a lot of these commands meant. When I ask people if they know what Control F is, usually only about 50% of the people I'm teaching know what it means. and it is find command. So I can type in Control F and then the word that I'm trying to find within the document, and it will take me to that word. And if I hit next, it will take me to the next use of that word until it runs out of times it's used. It'll also give you short descriptions of what each of those functions are. So it's really helpful to have this printed out or just where you can use it. And then it does give a course outline, which is very detailed on what you're going to learn and how much you will learn under that. Does it get to what level does it get to? Is it beginning only, or is it a much more advanced type? This particular lesson, Excel 2016, has basic, intermediate, and advanced. So there's actually 4 that you can take here. If you click on catalog, it will take you to all of the classes that they have. So you can see here, there's one on business writing, there's one on effective presentations. We talked about Google Docs. There's email etiquette. So if you've got a new person who's not real good at composing emails, you can do that. Managing meetings, just all kinds of different things that are available. With your library card, all of these are free. You don't have to pay anything, and you can get certificates that say you completed it. So that a lot of times employers are looking for things like that. So that's a really helpful tool to have as well. Lynda.com is another one that is educational. If you've not heard of it before, Lynda.com is now called LinkedIn Learning because it was bought by LinkedIn. You don't have to put in the information if you're trying to find out if they even have something on it. So I'm just going to put in the word marketing, and it comes back and tells me it found 30,953 results for marketing. It does it either as a video or as a course. If it's a video, it will give you the title and how long it is. If it is a course, it will give you the title, who the instructor is, how long is it, what level is it at, beginning, intermediate, or advanced, and how many people have actually taken it all the way through. So this particular one, marketing tools, 8,322 people have done it. If it's something that's fairly new, it may not have very high numbers yet, but if it's been around for a while, like this one down here, it's got 139,849 people that thought it was worth the 2 hours and 23 minutes at beginner level to actually learn the basics of this particular topic, because that's what it's covering. So I'm going to go into that one just to show you kinds of things you're looking for. You can preview the course, which is just usually a 1 to 2 minute video on some of the things that you'll learn, as well as an introduction to the speaker. So this was last updated on July 15th. It was originally put out on September 26th of 2018. It does tell you how many people have viewed it. This is an ongoing series. You will not receive a certificate of completion for this particular one because of that. But you can also search under the instructor's name. So if you like their style, you can go back in and learn more. You can go through and find out what is going to be there and what's going to be covered and what's not going to be covered. It'll tell you related courses. After you've taken this one, you might want to also look at some of these others. On the side, it will give you learning paths. There's a lot of different learning paths that you can go after. So if I wanted to become better known as a marketing specialist, I can tell I want that, and it'll tell me which courses I need to take in order to be certified in that. And you do get a certification if you do the learning path, and it's telling you that it is a total of 16 hours. So there's a lot of information here. They've also got, if you want only to watch videos, because that's how you learn best, you would just click on videos only, and then it would narrow that down to 27,000, because those all have videos as part of it. How long are they? Less than 10 minutes, less than 30 minutes, less than an hour, or more than an hour. And again, as I mentioned, beginner, intermediate, advanced, appropriate for all. It has a lot of different things. If you're looking for marketing, you might also look at these key headings, because those are all related to marketing in one way or the other. What software is being used for that particular class? What companies have provided information on this particular class or are out there? What are the best authors, people that produce different content for this particular topic? And you can click on show more, always to expand things out. So if you find that, oh, I know that course was taught by Drew somebody, but I can't remember who, You can actually scroll down here and find out it was Drew Boyd, probably. And then click on that, and then it'll show you his picture at some point. So you can say, yeah, that's the right guy, or no, it's not. So Learn on Demand, or lynda.com, sorry, is a really good database. Again, it is called LinkedIn Learning now because it was bought out by LinkedIn, but they're still using it under lynda.com for libraries. You do not want to go to lynda.com. It's very expensive. If you go in on your own, if you come in through PPLD, you are identified by your library card number and your PIN number. Once you sign on to take something, you do have to put that card number in. And sign up to take a class, I would have to do that. In order to, or you can do it at the very beginning when I was looking at it. You can take up to 6 classes at a time. So that's another option for you as well if you're trying to get more education on a particular topic. You're trying to get up to speed fairly quickly. It is one way to do it. So that is a lynda.com, sorry. Sometimes when you get into these databases, you forget which ones you're talking about. Small Business Resource Center is one put out by Gail that kind of puts everything together. And what it is, it'll give you trending small businesses, which is the topic for this month. And if we explore this topic, it will tell me a little bit about what it is and what they're trying to, how many business plans there are on this topic, recommended resources, how many videos, how many directories, how many recordings, magazines and journals, how many websites or newspaper articles. And then down below, it starts giving you a few of each. If you want to look at all, you would click on the heading up here and it will give you every single thing it has. So this is a really good tool to get started to figure out where do I start if you're not sure where you want to start. Going back to their first screen again, besides the topic of the month, they always have these up. These are the ones that are asked for most often. How do I do a business plan? What's some of the things I should be looking at? How to do market research or marketing, how to figure out what business idea might be out there. And if I'm looking at funding, how do I find out about what funding options are out there? Somebody told me there was a government funding option for this particular topic. So if you go in, it will tell you what's out there and it will actually give you the full content. So if I wanted to see what was out there for government funding, I can go here and read the whole article on the different types of funding that are out there. And it does have hyperlinks within the articles to get you to more information on different topics. So lots of information is there, how to manage your business, how to start a business. You can also do a keyword search at the very top and search something here that you might want as well. So here's 212 different business plans just on marketing. There's 1,056 resources on marketing resources. Most of these are what they call ebooks or electronic books, but they're fat reference books in most cases. If you're looking for different things that are out there, it will actually tell you what the word content is too, so you can tell if it's a brief overview of the topic or a more in-depth overview of the topic. There's just a lot of information out here on a lot of different topics, trying to figure out what you're trying to do. This is a really good tool to use as well. Okay, let me actually take this. Okay, so that is the topic that we wanted to cover for minding your business. So we've covered about 15 different databases. You can go to any part within it, and I will be sending information on what is actually covered. So you can go just to that section and skip over sections in order to find the type of information you're looking for, whether it's magazine articles, corporate information, business plan outlines, business plan samples, just all kinds of different things that are available for you at Pikes Peak Library District. And again, you want to take a look at the, close the window on me. You want to take a look at the headings and figure out what is available and what's the best source to use. If you need more help, please ask at the reference desk, or call the reference desk at 389-8968. Thank you.